News 8 at 5.
Thousands of San Diegans took to the streets today, joining hundreds of other marches all across the country. Some of the biggest crowds were in New York, Washington, D.C., and Utah. The marches all had one central theme: reproductive rights. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Kirsten Holmes. Steve is off tonight. Organizers of the Women's March of San Diego say they needed a big show of solidarity ahead of the Supreme Court session that starts on Monday. In this session, abortion rights are on the docket. News 8's Tim Blodgett takes us inside of the marches here in San Diego County.
Just weeks after the state of Texas signed a restrictive abortion bill into law, organizers from the Women's March are taking to the streets all over the country in support of reproductive rights.
My choice! My choice!
It was a morning for motivation.
Louder so that people in Texas can hear us. Buenos dias, San Diego!
And a call to action.
Keep making good trouble, keep standing up for what's right.
The Women's March brought out big crowds in major cities like New York and Austin, but also in smaller communities like Julian, California. While the Women's March usually takes place in January, today's march is in response to a bill passed by Texas Republicans banning abortion after 6 weeks, a blow to the landmark case of Roe v. Wade that gives a woman a right to an abortion.
Look, I'll tell you, if we have to fight, by God, I'm glad to be in this fight with you.
Today at Waterfront Park in downtown San Diego, nearly 2,000 marchers, mostly carrying signs, listened to city and state leaders giving a rallying cry for the reproductive rights movement.
I have been doing this for too long to give up and give in, and I stand on the shoulders of some incredibly great women who taught me what I needed to do to be powerful and to fight in this fight.
Misogynizing, compromising, jeopardizing, and exercising the hell out of your rights when you have no right to claim oversight to what does not belong to you.
Organizers pushed the crowd to let their voices be heard, but also to make a difference after the march was over, hoping crowds in streets around the country will give rise to the larger cause of reproductive freedom.
I am a wife, I'm a mother, and I'm a black woman in America. I have to stand up for our rights.
You will hear us. You will hear our voices. Our daughters, our granddaughters, our sisters, our families. We will fight.
Tim Blodgett, News 8.
Quite a large crowd this morning despite the heat, and it will continue for the rest of the weekend. But will we see a break after that? Meteorologist Sean Stiles joins us now with a look at that microclimate forecast and hopefully some relief on the way.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the coastline wasn't too bad. In fact, it felt like a perfect summer day, even though we're in fall right now. And look at the temperatures in those inland valleys. We're talking about still in the upper 80s to low 90s, 89 in El Cajon, 90 in Escondido, and we're in the mid 70s downtown, 79. We were 10 degrees above our seasonal average, and the atmosphere is really dry. So that's why we warmed up so quickly. Dry atmosphere, boom, the heat really warms things up. It takes a lot longer when you have a lot of moisture out there, and clearly we do not have that. Tomorrow, again, another toasty day. As you make your way into, say, Monday, we start to see a cool down, and then by Tuesday, we go actually below average. No dramatic cool down, but there is some storm clouds on the horizon, a chance of some light rain coming into our forecast. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But 93, 85, 79, so a cool down on the way. But boy, another warm one for us here in San Diego tomorrow. Kirsten?
California became the first state to announce school vaccine requirements, and now there's a lot of questions about exemptions. What are they really, and what qualifies? The state will allow medical, personal, or religious reasons not to get the shot, but how will those be granted? News 8's Heather Hope gets answers from a legal analyst.
Yes, Kirsten, there are still so many questions as to how the state of California will review and accept all medical, personal, and religious exemptions. We know that schools in the San Diego Unified School District, such as Kearney High School, will not be accepting any personal or religious exemptions.
Are there exemptions? Yes, well-established exemptions for medical reasons, personal and/or religious beliefs.
Laying out the exceptions but not giving specific details, Governor Gavin Newsom made the major announcement Friday that California will become the first in the nation to require the COVID-19 vaccine for not only school staff but for students following FDA full approval.
You would need to get a note from your healthcare providers saying that vaccination is medically unwarranted.
Legal analyst Dan Eaton says the process for students getting a medical exemption is straightforward, but requesting a religious exemption is complicated.
The religious exemption is a little trickier, but you have to attest that it is a bona fide religious reason that is causing you to resist vaccination.
As for the San Diego Unified School District,
we will allow for medical exemptions, but not religious or personal belief exemptions.
The Poway Unified School District says it will comply with the state's order.
We know it's a divisive issue, but ultimately we hope that everyone's on the same page.
The California State Legislature could one day decide to remove any exemptions.
We may want to consider legislative steps when the legislature goes back to session.
That possible removal leaves some lawmakers worried.
Very concerned that the legislature, when it comes back, will try to remove those exemptions.
Dan Eaton says the battle over who gets what exemption may come out in court.
You are going to have the kind of resistance that comes and inevitably results in lawsuits.
He says school legal teams will examine each exemption to decide if the reason is allowed and what accommodation will be made for the student.
At some point, the courts are going to come in and give us a great deal of guidance. But for now, anyway, we're in uncharted territory.
Heather Hope, News 8.
Thank you for that story, Heather. Okay, so one of America's last living World War II veterans has died. The family of Sidney Walton says he passed away peacefully this morning in Santa Monica at the age of 102. This is footage of Walton's 2019 trip to the White House when former President Trump hosted him in the Oval Office. The New York native enlisted in the Army before Pearl Harbor. He served in the Pacific Theater as a medical tech at the rank of corporal, and that was all before settling in San Diego. For the last 3 years, he had been on a mission to meet all 50 governors and raise awareness for veterans' issues. You also may remember seeing him on the field for the coin toss at the Super Bowl in 2020. And scooters are back in big numbers on the streets of San Diego, and accidents, those too are on the rise. Lime launched 500 of its Generation 4 electric scooters with plans to quadruple that amount in coming weeks. Today in Kearny Mesa, they teamed up with the San Diego County Bicycle Coalition to put on a First Ride Safety Academy. The goal is to educate riders on the rules of the road.
And so the goal of today is to walk our riders through how to check their vehicle, how to ensure that they know all the local rules and regulations, and to make sure that they're being mindful of the community.
Coming up later at 6:30, we'll tell you how Lime plans on keeping riders and drivers safe in San Diego. And Art Walk is back this weekend in Little Italy, and News 8 is a proud sponsor. It's Southern California's longest running and largest fine art festival. The event showcases the work of more than 300 artists and performers, plus some of San Diego's best food vendors.
But the whole focus of it is connecting creative communities. And that's artists that are here to display their work, interact with their community, and of course sell the work that they've been working on for years.
Proceeds from the event go to Art Reach San Diego. That's a nonprofit that offers free visual art workshops to San Diego County schools.